was a brilliant contribution from the chair of the Select Committee. This afternoon, steelworkers from Port Talbot, from Llanwern and beyond are up in the gallery, come here today to ask the government to step up after last week's announcement from Tata. So on their behalf, can we implore ministers, before it's too late, to pursue all avenues to secure a longer, fairer transition for our industry that supports our steel industry and supports our jobs. We need a meaningful consultation with the unions, and we need full consideration of the alternative options the trade unions have put forward, because we want the best deal for steel. We don't want the cheapest deal for steel, and that is what we have before us. Last, I will give way.
Can I thank my honourable friend for giving way? She's a great champion for steelmaking in Llanwern. Does she agree with me that the negative impact of the government's plans for steel in South Wales will be massive? Also, is there anything she can say about whether or not the product of electric arc furnaces will be suitable for the Zodiac line at Llanwern?
I thank my honourable friend for that intervention. It will indeed be, last week's announcement was devastating for Port Talbot, for the people from Newport who travel to work there, for wider South Wales, but also devastating for communities across South Wales. There were 2,800 workers affected over 18 months in Port Talbot, and also Tata expect a further 300 roles could be impacted in around 3 years' time at Llanwern in Newport East. And to come on to my honourable friend's point, this would leave the Zodiac line, which produces world-class automotive steel. It was the best processing line in the world when it was built, and it remains one of the best. But as the unions have highlighted, Zodiac will in the short term be reliant on imports, and there remains big questions about the quality of the steel produced in the electric arc furnaces route. These are high-value products, and it is a precarious position for Llanwern. As has often been repeated in recent days, however the government dress it up, this government is giving Tata 500 million to make 3,000 people redundant, and in doing so, ending our ability to make virgin steel, the only major economy in the world to do so, and that is shameful, leaving us reliant on imports at a time when demand for steel, the steel we will need desperately for our green infrastructure, is only growing, relying on imports at a greater cost, as the honourable member said earlier, coming over here in diesel-fuelled vessels, ship thousands of miles from countries with lower environmental standards. It doesn't have to be so. As others have said, there is an alternative plan proposed by the steel unions, and we pay tribute to them and the fight they put up on behalf of their members. The Sindex plan is credible and based on a phased transition over a decade. Officials of Tata have acknowledged to unions that the union plan was serious and deliverable, but wouldn't commit to the extra funding. The government must step up, as other countries are doing. In fact, there can't be a developed country in the world that approaches this in a worse way than this country does. And on this side of the House, we will. A general election cannot come soon enough for our steel industry. We have long pledged the £3 billion fund to decarbonise UK steel production, but this government's plan is not a serious plan. It is yet another sticking plaster from a government without a proper industrial strategy. 12 steel ministers since 2010, 6 in the last 4 years alone. And just to quickly address some of the comments made by the Secretary of State for Wales this week, at a time of awful news, some of the attacks that he made. This deal was done without Welsh Government or trade union support. Welsh ministers have repeatedly contacted business ministers. The First Minister tried to get a phone call on Friday with the Prime Minister and wasn't allowed to do so. This Welsh Government has used all the levers that it has, but we must not allow this Government to make irreversible decisions, because for Wales, steel is part of Wales's history, but it should be and is also vital to our greener future.
Prime Minister